We have been taught, or we have simply assumed, that we are nothing more than our bodies and our minds. But what if that isn't the whole story? What if the truth about who you are is far deeper, far greater, and far more beautiful than the physical form you see in the mirror or the thoughts that fill your head? Let's explore this illusion of identity. Let's question the belief that you are just your body and mind, and see why this understanding is incomplete. And why awakening beyond it can transform your life. Common beliefs about who we are. From the moment we are born, we start learning about the world, and about ourselves. The first thing we notice is our body. Our hands, our face, our voice. We hear people call us by name, look at our faces, and recognize us by how we look. So, naturally, we start to think, I am this body. Our body moves, feels pain, experiences pleasure. We feel hungry or tired, we grow older every year, and we even get sick. Because all these experiences happen through our body, it's easy to believe that the body is the self. At the same time, our mind is very busy. Thoughts arise like a constant stream, about the past, the future, plans, worries, hopes, memories. We say to ourselves things like, I am angry, I am happy, or I am sad. Because these emotions and thoughts feel so real and immediate, we also come to identify with them. So, piece by piece, it feels like our identity is built from our physical body, our thoughts and feelings. Together, these form what many call me or I. We often describe ourselves by our body or mind. I am a tall person. I am intelligent. I am shy. I am anxious. This way of seeing ourselves is so common that it feels completely natural. And yet, is it really true? Why do we identify with body and mind? Why do we do this? Why do we believe so strongly that we are our body and mind? Part of the answer is biology. Our brain and nervous system create thoughts, sensations, and feelings, and our senses connect us to the world through our body. This gives the impression that this self is contained here. Another part is society and culture. From early childhood, we are constantly taught to notice our physical appearance, by how others respond to us, by cultural values, and even by the media. We are also judged by our behavior, our mental abilities and emotions. Our name is attached to our body and our personality, so it feels natural to say, I am this person. This identity gives us a sense of control and survival. Knowing who we are in physical and mental terms helps us navigate the world. It helps us remember, plan, and protect ourselves. But here is the catch. This identity is limited. It's like trying to understand the entire ocean by looking at just one wave. Let me ask you, have you ever felt that you are more than just your body or your mind? Think about a moment when your body felt tired, but your mind was sharp, or when your mind was full of worries, but your body was calm. Sometimes you might notice a space between your thoughts, a quiet awareness watching them come and go. This experience hints at something beyond the body and mind. Also, what happens when your body changes? When you grow older or get sick? Are you still you even if your appearance changes? What about when your thoughts or feelings change, your mood shifts, your opinions evolve? Are you still the same person? If we say yes to these questions, it means this self can't be fully defined by body or mind alone. They are changing, impermanent. Yet you, the observer, remain. This shows us that the idea, I am just my body and mind, is an illusion. It's a partial truth, but not the full truth. Let's look at one simple stories that show how this illusion plays out. Story 1. The mirror and the reflection. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing your reflection. The reflection moves as you move, smiles as you smile, but it is not you. It's just an image created by the mirror. Similarly, your body and mind are like a reflection. They appear and change, but they are not the true self. Why this illusion causes suffering? Identifying completely with body and mind creates several problems. We fear aging, illness, and death because we think, "I will disappear." We become attached to thoughts and emotions, causing anxiety and stress. We judge ourselves harshly when we fail, or when our mood is negative. We feel isolated because we see ourselves as separate from others. These feelings are real, but they come from misunderstanding who we are. When we think, "I am this body," or "I am my thoughts," we limit ourselves. We live in fear and struggle. What if instead of being trapped in this limited identity, we open ourselves to the possibility that we are much more? This is not just a spiritual fantasy or wishful thinking. Many ancient traditions, as well as modern science, invite us to explore this idea deeply. When we start to question the belief, "I am just my body and mind," we open the door to self-discovery. We start noticing a deeper awareness inside, something that watches our body and mind but is not limited by them. This awareness is constant. It doesn't change with age, mood, or appearance. It is the silent presence behind every thought, feeling, and sensation. You might wonder, why does understanding this illusion matter? Because when we realize we are more than body and mind, our whole relationship with ourselves and the world changes. We become less afraid of physical changes and death. We learn to accept our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed. We develop compassion for ourselves and others. We experience more peace, joy, and freedom. This transformation doesn't just help us individually. It ripples out to families, communities, and society. When people see themselves as connected and greater than just their limited identity, they act with kindness and care. Now, take a moment to reflect. When you say, I, who are you really referring to? Is I my body? My thoughts? Or something beyond? Can you feel the awareness that watches your body and mind? This simple question is the beginning of awakening. Now that we've begun to see the illusion of identifying ourselves only as body and mind, it's time to ask a profound question. Who are you beyond your physical form and thoughts? Is there a part of you that exists beyond the limits of your body and mind, something deeper, unchanging, and truly you? Today, we will explore this deeper self, the true essence of who you really are. This is the part of you that remains when all else changes. It is pure awareness, consciousness, the foundation of your entire being. To understand this deeper self, we need to shift from looking at ourselves as things, objects, to looking at ourselves as awareness itself. Think about this. You have thoughts, feelings, and sensations. But have you ever noticed the space in which these thoughts and feelings arise? For example, when you feel happy or sad, who is feeling those emotions? Is it the emotion itself, or is there someone aware of the emotion? That someone is consciousness. It's the silent observer inside you, watching everything without judgment. Deepak Chopra often calls this your true self, or pure consciousness, the part of you that doesn't change no matter what your body does or what thoughts pass through your mind. Deepak Chopra teaches us that the true self is not limited by the physical body or mental processes. He says, "You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are pure awareness, the field of infinite possibilities." This awareness is like an ocean, vast, deep, and calm beneath the waves of daily life. Your body and mind are like the waves and the weather on the ocean's surface, constantly changing. But the ocean itself remains. This true self, your consciousness, is the source of all life and experience. It is eternal, unbounded by time or space. Understanding your true self as consciousness is not just a spiritual idea. It has practical benefits that can transform your life and your relationships. When you see that you are more than your body or mind, you stop being controlled by negative thoughts and emotions because you realize they are just temporary waves on your ocean of awareness. You become less attached to physical appearance, health, or age, knowing your essence is beyond the body. You feel calmer during difficult times, because you can step back and observe what's happening without being overwhelmed. You develop greater compassion and patience with yourself and others, recognizing we all share this deeper self. You open yourself to a sense of purpose and connection with something greater than the material world. You might wonder, how can I know this deeper self for myself? Here are a few simple practices that help you connect with your true self. Your awareness beyond body and mind. Pause and observe your thoughts. Feel the space between thoughts. Practice mindful breathing. Ask yourself, who am I? Modern science is also beginning to recognize that consciousness is more than just brain activity. Studies in quantum physics and neuroscience suggest that consciousness might be fundamental to the universe, not just a byproduct of the brain. This means your awareness is connected to everything, not limited to your body. Scientists and spiritual teachers like Deepak Chopra invite us to explore this mystery with an open mind. Let me share a story that beautifully illustrates the difference between body, mind, and true self. There once was a man who got lost in the forest. He wandered for hours, confused and afraid. Finally, he reached a river and saw his reflection in the water. The reflection was distorted by the ripples. Frustrated, he tried to catch the reflection, but it slipped away. Then he sat quietly and realized the reflection was not him. He was the one looking at the reflection. This simple realization freed him from fear. He understood that the true self is the awareness watching the changing reflections of body and mind. In a world often driven by appearance, status, and achievement, many people feel lost or incomplete. Recognizing the deeper self can bring healing to individuals and society. It reduces judgment and division because we see beyond surface differences. It encourages kindness because we know we all share the same true nature. It inspires us to live with greater meaning and authenticity beyond material success. This awareness is a foundation for peace within ourselves and with each other. Right now, wherever you are, you can begin to touch this deeper self. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the presence that is watching your breath. The silent awareness behind all experience. Know that this presence is your true self, constant, unchanging, and infinite. For centuries, science viewed consciousness as a simple byproduct of the brain, something created inside your head. But over the past few decades, a powerful shift has begun. Leading scientists are now discovering that consciousness might not just arise from brain activity. It may actually be fundamental to the universe itself. Let's look at some of the key scientific ideas and discoveries that support this. Quantum physics is one of the most mind-bending fields of science. At the smallest scales, the level of atoms and subatomic particles, the rules of classical physics no longer apply. Particles behave like waves, exist in multiple places at once, and seem to change when observed. Here's where it gets interesting. The act of observation appears to play a crucial role in how reality unfolds. This suggests that consciousness, the observer, influences the physical world. Dr. Amit Goswami, a renowned quantum physicist, calls consciousness the ground of all being. He says consciousness is not produced by the brain, but is the fundamental essence of everything. In other words, rather than the brain creating consciousness, consciousness creates the brain and the physical universe. This idea challenges the materialistic view and opens the door to understanding that you, as a conscious being, are deeply connected to the fabric of reality. Neuroscience has traditionally studied the brain as the source of consciousness. But intriguing new findings suggest a different perspective. Some near-death experiences show that people remain conscious even when brain activity has stopped. Studies of blind sight patients who can respond to visual stimuli without conscious awareness reveal layers of consciousness beyond ordinary perception. Research into meditation and mindfulness shows that regular practice changes brain function, but also that awareness itself exists before these changes. Many neuroscientists are beginning to see the brain more like a receiver or filter of consciousness, much like a radio picks up signals, but doesn't create the music. This implies that consciousness exists independently, and the brain simply allows us to experience it in a physical form. While science is just beginning to catch up, ancient spiritual traditions have been pointing toward this greater self for millennia. Though science and spirituality have different languages and methods, they are converging on the same profound insight. We are not isolated, separate beings limited to bodies and minds. We are expressions of a universal consciousness. A greater self that is timeless, boundless, and connected to everything. Deepak Chopra beautifully bridges these two worlds, encouraging us to embrace this unity. He says that spirituality is not separate from science, but rather the deeper dimension that science is beginning to explore. This convergence invites us to live differently, with more compassion, presence, and meaning. Let me share a story about a scientist who was once skeptical of spirituality. She spent years studying the brain, convinced that consciousness was just brain activity. One day, during a meditation retreat, she experienced a profound state of pure awareness, a feeling of unity with all life. This experience couldn't be explained by science alone. Returning to her lab, she began researching with new eyes, finding evidence that consciousness might be much more than the brain. She realized that science and spirituality are like two sides of the same coin, both essential to understanding reality. You don't need to be a scientist or spiritual master to begin experiencing this greater self. Here are some simple steps to start. Meditate or practice mindfulness regularly, to quiet the mind and observe the awareness behind thoughts. Read both scientific and spiritual teachings, to expand your understanding and see the connection. Observe nature and your own experiences, noticing how life is interconnected and how awareness pervades all things. Ask yourself questions like, who is aware of this thought? Who am I beyond my body and mind? With patience and curiosity, you can gradually awaken to this deeper reality. Imagine a world where more people realize their connection to this greater self. Conflicts would lessen because the sense of separation fades. People would care more deeply for one another and for the earth. Creativity and innovation would flourish, inspired by a sense of unity and purpose. Mental health would improve as individuals find peace beyond their thoughts and emotions. This vision is not just a dream, it's already beginning to take root, as more people awaken to their true nature. Mindfulness, the first step toward awareness. Mindfulness is the simple act of being present. It means paying attention to your experience, your breath, your thoughts, your sensations, without judgment or distraction. But mindfulness is much more than just paying attention. It's about noticing who is aware of these things. Imagine this: you're sitting quietly, just noticing your breath going in and out. At first, your mind is busy, worries, plans, judgments crowd in. But slowly you learn to observe those thoughts as if they are clouds passing through the sky. You realize, I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness watching the thoughts. This simple shift in perspective is powerful. Mindfulness teaches you to step back from your mind's endless chatter and observe it without becoming attached. You begin to see that your identity is not fixed to the restless thinking mind or the sensations of the body. You start to glimpse the deeper self, the silent presence behind all experience. Meditation is mindfulness in action, a dedicated practice to cultivate this awareness. There are many types of meditation, but at its core, meditation invites you to settle into the awareness that is always present, beneath thoughts, emotions, and sensations. A simple meditation to start with: find a quiet place and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, letting your body relax. Bring your attention to your breath, noticing its natural rhythm. When thoughts arise, gently bring your focus back to the breath, without frustration or judgment. After a few minutes, expand your awareness to include the sense of being, the feeling of presence itself. Over time, meditation helps you disidentify from the body and mind. You learn to see yourself not as the thoughts you think or the feelings you feel, but as the presence that is aware of all these. Deepak Chopra often says that meditation is not about trying to become something new, but about remembering who you truly are. Breath awareness, your immediate connection to the present. Breath is unique. It is the bridge between the body, mind, and spirit. You can't live without breathing, yet most of the time, you don't notice your breath. Breath awareness is a simple practice that brings you immediately into the present moment. Try this now. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Feel the air filling your lungs. Slowly breathe out through your mouth. Focus entirely on the sensation of the breath, the coolness going in, the warmth going out. This simple act brings your awareness from the restless thinking mind into your body's natural rhythm. It grounds you in the present and reminds you that you are more than your worries or stories. The breath connects you to life itself, the essence that flows through all living beings. How to detach from body and mind identification. Detaching doesn't mean rejecting or denying your body or mind. They are part of your human experience, and caring for them is essential. But detachment means not allowing them to fully define you. Here are some ways to practice detachment daily. Observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Recognize the impermanence of sensations and emotions. Spend time in silence and solitude. Practice gratitude and compassion. Use affirmations that reinforce your deeper identity. When you start living from this awareness, life begins to change in wonderful ways. You're no longer caught in the constant drama of thoughts and emotions. A deep calm arises naturally, that is peace. Stress comes from resistance and attachment to things we can't control. From the greater self's perspective, you learn to flow with life. When you stop identifying with the noise of the mind, you see situations more clearly and make wiser choices. True joy is not dependent on external circumstances. It comes from recognizing your inner wholeness and connectedness. You don't need to set aside hours each day to experience your true self. Here are easy ways to bring this awareness into your everyday routine. 1. Pause for breath. Before starting a new task or responding to a stressful moment, take 3 conscious breaths. 2. Mindful walking. Feel each step, notice the sensations in your feet, and be fully present as you move. 3. Mindful eating. Savor each bite, noticing texture, taste, and nourishment. 4. Technology breaks. Take short breaks from screens to reconnect with your breath and body. 5. Evening reflection. Before bed, spend a few minutes in silence, noticing the day's experiences without judgment. Overcoming common challenges. It's natural to face challenges when starting these practices. Your mind may resist or wander. That's normal. Gently bring it back without self-criticism. You might feel impatient or frustrated. Remember that growth takes time. Sometimes you may feel disconnected. Keep practicing. Awareness is like a muscle that strengthens with use. Don't expect instant results. The true self reveals itself gradually. Right now, take a deep breath with me. Feel the air entering your body, filling you with life. Feel the presence that is aware of this breath. This presence is your true self, always here, always waiting to be noticed. You are more than your body or mind. You are the awareness that is eternal, infinite, and connected to all. One of the first places you'll notice change is in your relationships. When you know yourself as more than your body and mind, as the awareness that connects all life, the way you relate to others deepens. Think about how often conflicts arise from misunderstanding and attachment to appearances. When you identify solely with your body and mind, you see others as separate, sometimes as obstacles, competitors, or even threats. But what if you saw your family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers as expressions of the same consciousness you are? Imagine this shift. Instead of reacting with judgment or anger, you respond with curiosity and empathy. Instead of feeling alone or isolated, you feel connected and supported. Instead of holding grudges, you practice forgiveness and understanding. This shift doesn't mean ignoring your boundaries or needs. It means recognizing the shared humanity and spiritual essence in everyone. When you live from this awareness, your relationships become more loving, peaceful, and fulfilling. You communicate with kindness because you see the other person as part of your greater self. Your work is another area transformed by the awareness of your greater self. When you identify only with your body and mind, work can feel like a means to an end, a way to earn money, achieve status, or prove yourself. But when you realize you are consciousness itself, your work gains new meaning. You begin to see your job or vocation not as a separate activity, but as an opportunity to express your true self. No matter what you do, you can bring mindfulness, creativity, and compassion to your tasks. Now, imagine this awareness expanding beyond you and your immediate circle, reaching your community and society at large. When more people awaken to the truth of their greater self, the ripple effects are profound. Communities become more compassionate, supportive, and resilient. Social conflicts ease as empathy replaces division. Environmental care deepens because people see themselves as part of the whole earth. We start to realize that our individual well-being is deeply connected to the well-being of others. The idea of us and them dissolves. One of the most beautiful results of living as your greater self is the blossoming of compassion. Compassion arises naturally when you see others as yourself. You begin to understand pain and suffering not as separate from you but as shared human experiences. Kindness becomes a way of life, simple acts of generosity, listening, and presence. You no longer feel trapped by the ego's need for control or approval. Instead, you experience inner freedom, freedom from fear, attachment, and judgment. This freedom doesn't mean detachment from life but a deep engagement with it, fully present, fully alive, and fully loving. You become a beacon of peace and light for those around you. How this awareness can help society today? Our world is facing many challenges: division, environmental crisis, social injustice. Yet, the greatest solutions start within. When individuals awaken to their true self, they bring healing energy to the world. They act with wisdom, courage, and love. Communities led by awakened individuals create more just and sustainable systems. They innovate with care, lead with integrity, and build bridges where walls once stood. Now I want you to take a moment and really feel this. You are not limited to your body or mind. You are the awareness behind your thoughts, the presence in your breath, the light in your heart. You are infinite, connected, and powerful beyond measure. You have the power to transform your life, to heal your relationships, bring meaning to your work, and uplift your community. Your true self is waiting for you, ready to guide you toward a life of peace, joy, and purpose. So today, make a promise to yourself. Start living as the greater self you are. Let compassion guide your actions. Let kindness be your language.